Hey, what a great way to start the morning, Darren. Hey, beautiful messages. How beautiful was that poem?
So spontaneous.
Right?
So real, man.
All right,
Very
well,
sincere.
listen, let's get into health talks this morning. And inflammation is a topic that we're focusing on. We've heard of it. Most of us have experienced some sort of inflammation, and now we want to know how best to manage it. So our health expert, Dr. Darren Green, is with us this morning to discuss this very, very common condition. And as I said earlier on, yeah, everyone is experiencing some or other kind of
We use the word a lot, eh? And
yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of people can't differentiate between infection and inflammation.
Yes.
For them, it's all the same.
My throat is inflamed. This is inflamed. But
yeah.
what exactly is inflammation from a medical perspective?
It's your body's natural response to some or other damage or threat. So whether you're bumping your knee, as is indicated there, or whether you've been stung by a bee, for example, your immune system launches a response to the injured area to identify what's going on and to fix it as quickly as possible. So, you know, inflammation is divided up into acute inflammation, which is the right now, like an allergic reaction, frostbite, infections, burns, trauma, etc., and chronic inflammation, which is over a longer period of time. In the acute phase, once you've had that injury or stubbed your toe against the furniture, your body sends a whole lot of specialized cells to the area that are involved, obviously, with calling in all the troops to cause the redness, to cause the swelling.
It's like the scene of an accident.
Yes.
Then the ER, comes around, and then they surround this area. Okay, this is where the damage is.
That's it.
And that's where the gathering of the people happens, and that's you.
And then the different types of cells will start in the process of patching the wounds, doing basic first aid, removing some of the people that might have been injured severely and taking them to the right place, and also getting rid of obviously a lot of the bad products at that site. So that's acute inflammation, and then chronic is over time when your body actually tries to remodule the cells and repair the structural damage that has occurred.
Wow.
So that's how incredibly we are created.
Listen, the human body is an amazing thing. Just picturing that happening. I mean, we've all seen, like I said, the scene of an accident out there, and this is exactly what happens in the human body. So when it comes to managing and treating inflammation, what advice do you have? Yeah,
so obviously there are a few things. You need to learn how to manage stress in terms of chronic inflammation. That's the one that often results in bad systemic diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, GIT or gut absorption issues, the weight gain, and then the myriad of metabolic syndrome around that. So looking at reducing your stress specifically, also looking at how you rest, because cortisol is the stress hormone, and the things that affect the release of cortisol, which combats stress, it's a natural hormone in the body, you have to obviously ensure that suppresses the inflammation over time. Yeah. So chronic inflammation can burn out your adrenal glands that release cortisol, and affect you long term if you don't reverse it and come up with those coping tools. And then good sleep and regular exercise. Practical tips in terms of dealing with stress.
Good sleep, regular exercise.
And meditation is the one that's often the most overlooked. And the role that plays. Mindfulness, quietening yourself a little bit, just to get perspective on things and to help you focus on what exactly is the stress and how do I target it.
Yes. All right, so when we focus on chronic inflammation as the one over a longer period of time, and ones that certainly needs a bit more focus in terms of management, what can we avoid, or what do we need to eliminate in order to manage chronic?
So I think the things that put your body under stress are things like smoking, alcohol obviously is a big one, and then trans fats, the bad fats that are involved, for example, in causing inflammation in the human body, and that would mean that you'd have to then change your diet and focus on everything you put into this, what I like to call the pie hole. You need to be aware of whether it's pro-inflammatory, causing inflammation, or actually anti-inflammatory.
Because some foods are pro-inflammation.
Some foods are, and that's my next point, is that anti-inflammatory products are things like, for example, olive oil. Omega-3s are useful in that process. So understanding that, you know, what you take, almonds, walnuts, those things are very useful in reducing inflammation. Tomatoes. Amazing fruit vegetable, that one.
Excellent. All right, and then speaking of food, let's kind of like, so we speak about these as being anti-inflammatory, and those that, so are trans fats the only class of foods that are pro-inflammatory?
No, big surge on the inflammation that refined sugars is also causing.
Wow.
So trans fats is one big group, and then the refined sugars that's hidden in almost everything, from your sauces through to your, obviously your breakfast bars that are not so breakfast with corn syrup, etc. Those refined sugars are responsible responsible for so much inflammation.
Yeah. So we're looking at things like tomatoes that you said we should take in, anything that
almonds,
contains
walnuts.
omega-3 specifically.
Omega-3 is very good.
Walnuts. I mean, listen, these days I'm a fan of just like a handful of Brazilian nuts and almonds, and then just cranberries. Just snack on that kind of thing.
The color of the fruit and the vegetables, those bright colors,
Yes.
all contain what's called phytonutrients and micronutrients that are very, very useful long-term for chronic inflammation in the gut. Like in tomatoes, obviously, it's a thing like lycopene, which gives it its red color.
Yeah.
Those things are absolutely amazing.
Fantastic. The human body is an absolute miracle, and you've got to take care of yours so they can take care of you. And our thanks, of course, to Dr. Darren Green. And, of course, BWELL is on a mission to make South Africa healthy again. So, for a healthy lifestyle and healthy lifestyle advice, visit www.makesahealthyagain.co.za. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.